Now the fucking vegans are killing people? I mean, what the fuck? Is that how little we mean to you versus animals? Welcome to a Scott the Truck Driver Uncut Slate. Well, it's a little bit of cutting, but I'm try and do a shorter video. I did not plan this video today. But I feel the need to comment because it does kind of hit close to home as a health and wellness, weight loss vlogger that I have become, and mainly a lifestyle advocate. But someone in our genre, and I'm not going to name this person, I'm sure you probably already know, but I, like Philip DeFranco, don't believe in making motherfuckers famous that don't deserve it. Although the media does not share that view, and they've been pimping her sites, her social media, her pictures out all fucking day and throwing ads all over that shit. I'm not monetizing this video, and I don't want anybody to, there won't be any links in the description to donate on this video because that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I kind of wanted to talk about this topic a little, and, my thoughts on the attack that happened in California on YouTube by a YouTuber. Now, the YouTuber was a vegan and a fitness wannabe channel, even though they did not seemingly come from a weight loss background, or I was unhealthy and now I'm healthier background. It was mainly an evangelical vegan whose ideology was save the animals, while apparently shooting people is okay. And that kind of shows the hypocrisy behind some of the more radical vegan and animal rights people out there, and how divorced they are from our own human health, which has gone down the tubes. And I'm an advocate for human health. I'm an advocate for those types of things, for getting us out of that system. But I didn't come here today to really talk about that. I'm talking about one of the problems that's going on in the world today that I believe is contributing to this upheaval and unrest. And we all kind of play a role in this, because we are all triggered and constantly, upset. And, I want to go into the motives of somebody who was highly triggered to begin with, an activist, comes to YouTube and starts a channel. And I want, there's going to be fallout from this. There's got to be. There's going to be policy shifts. There's going to be changes to algorithms, probably. I don't know about my future on YouTube. But I want to address the thing that the media is going to be harping on, and that I've noticed already they are harping on as her motive for doing this. Aside from being mentally ill and being ridiculous in her views, without any self-accountability at all, in the fact that her views were declining at her exposure, she went and confronted YouTube. And when you fuck with the people that pay your bills, they tend to not want to pay your bills anymore. That's true in any job. But what we're seeing, and I see it all across YouTube, There is a lot of anger on people not getting paid for the hard work that we do here on YouTube. And I've always approached it from the standpoint, and that's one of the reasons I did do the crowdfunding and the website and all of that is if you guys found value, that kind of stuff. But it's not YouTube's responsibility. It's not our right for YouTube to pay us for what we do. It's nice. I like it when it happens. I do. And I'm doing okay with YouTube ad revenue. It's not, it's not the bread and butter. It's more like the icing on the cake. You still have to bake the fucking cake if you're going to be a serious YouTuber. And I see tons of videos out there bitching about it, and I've done a few where I've bitched, it's some of the stupidity going on. But then I came to the realization that ad revenue is unreliable. I cannot build a YouTube career on ad revenue. It's just not possible. It's not sustainable. It ebbs and flows, and in today's modern triggered society, where everybody could be outraged at any given moment, and then they pull your advertisers, or the advertisers themselves want to control your message so they won't promote you. I've been fortunate that certain shirtless motherfuckers like to advertise on my video, and I'm all for that. It promotes my ability to do this, and they're getting their message across. I don't want to, even though some of the things that, get advertised on my videos I don't agree with or I'm not on board with. That doesn't mean that, they don't have their right to come to my channel, and pay for the advertising for the work I'm doing and try and get their point of view across to you. This is freedom of speech. And, ironically, this shooter was wanting to suppress certain people in society who believed differently from her. Yet when it happened to her, and it really didn't happen in the way, from the evidence I'm seeing, it looks like a normal just decline on a channel, which can happen. People move on, people get sick of your shit, and they go. It sounds like she got into it directly with YouTube. This is all based on the flyby, report now, confirm later media. But from what I can tell, it's a little bit of hypocrisy in her reasoning for doing this very stupid, heinous act. Thankfully, she, and I hate to say this, but she was the only one that fucking died. But everybody else was pretty well wounded from what I caught on the news. I haven't been keeping up to the minute fucking shit. We need to kind of take a step back, though, on our entitlement mentalities. And our, believing that somebody that's doing something or a partnership owes us for all the work we do. We choose to do this work. I choose to spend hours on research and production and, publication of my videos. I was doing it before I got paid for it. I will do it after I stop getting paid for it. And, I have to survive, obviously. I have to pay bills. I have to eat. I have to keep a roof over my head and a car on the road. And, of course, internet. So, all of these things create an overhead for me. So if I can't meet my overhead demands, then obviously I have to spend the time I would otherwise be producing videos doing other things. I'm hovering in that line. Sometimes I dip below it, on some months, and then some other months, kind of carry me forward. But that's the way that business is. You have, peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows. And from what I can tell, this person, she saw a dip in her views, which happens. I see it all the time. I've had a 50% drop in ad revenue in a single month, and then it bounces back up. It's not a flat fucking line. If you look in your lifetime history of views and watch time and all of that, you're not going to see a flat line or an upward curve. It's going to look like this. Every once in a while, you get huge spikes, and then sometimes you get massive dips, and a lot of it's based on the algorithm, and they're getting better about letting advertisers choose the types of videos that they want to advertise in. It's not perfect. It's fucked up in a lot of ways. A video that should be fine for monetization just isn't gonna get it. But by no means as a YouTuber should you ever fucking expect YouTube to pay you. They are providing a service. The most of your income, if you want to do this for a living, has to come from your viewers, or from your merchandise, or from your sales or promotion of other products that are interested in you addressing them. I've had, offers from supplement companies that I've turned down, and I don't, because I'm not interested in that. I don't need the money, first of all, and second of all, I won't promote something I don't believe in. And at the same time, I promote shit that I have no fucking interest in me financially whatsoever to promote, other than maybe throwing an affiliate link on a video. And, I do all of that, and I get paid a little bit of money that way. Not enough to be significant. The bulk of the support that comes from YouTube comes from my very generous donators and Patreons. And that's the business model on YouTube, whether you like it or not, or live streams. Which live streams, YouTube loves them because they take a good cut of the money that comes in through live streams. So these are all things that I see very little evidence of this person doing. They were looking, I got 33,000 views on this video and 90 cents or something, was earned. And it's just a fact that not all videos get ads. I've had the little yellow icon of happiness pop up here and there every once in a while as the traction picks up for the video, as the engagement picks up, because I have people that regularly come and watch my shit regardless of being able to see the bells and whistles of saying, hey, there's a new video up. There's people that seem to regularly check, comment, like, subscribed, and are engaged with the channel. And when you have that engagement, that is one of the metrics I believe advertisers does to choose your video. But by no means, if I looked at my ad revenue, I'd be a little pissy probably. But no means would I consider it the end of my YouTube career, or would I stop doing it, or would I do something as stupid as this motherfucker did. It would just be like, oh, well, there goes my ad revenue. I knew it was going to happen someday, because I'm a controversial person. I'm outspoken. I don't have a very good filter when it comes to talking. And, when I turn this camera on, I shut my filters off, and it's the only way I can free flow and talk. As you can see in this unedited video, there's not a lot of gaps. I'm able to flow. And because I take the filters out. So it's what we have to kind of evaluate is our entitlement mentality. A lot of these, violent, fucked up people feel that they are entitled to something and that the world owes them. And then they go out when they don't get what they are expecting from the world. They go out and commit these violent and atrocious acts. My heart goes out to the victims of this shooting, but at the same time, there's people dying that we are not even paying attention to. And I'm going to do an entire video on this, but I wanted to touch on it here in this video, that millions of people are dying from preventable chronic diseases, and nobody's batting an eye. You don't see news spots on it. You don't see big outrage pieces filled with ads on it. You do not see it in every news feed and in every fucking search engine on there. Every algorithm isn't shoving it down your throat. No, we're focused on these smaller incidents. More people are dying on the highways. And some of that makes the news, particularly local news. But for the most part, it isn't unless there's something sensational about it. That has no impact on the people that pay the bills at these media companies. Do you get the full story? What's sets this shooting apart from the ones that happen here locally that I don't see on the news? And there's a shooting like at least every week, if not every day, on some occasions. There's stabbings. There's all kinds of violent acts that result in casualties. I know this comes off the heels of the school incident, which is also a disturbing fucking thing that we need to figure out how to fix. I'm not going to get into the politics of that, because I don't believe in the politics on either side on that. I think there's definitely issues that we need to address as a society to help cure these things, and that taking this thing away or doing that, or cracking down on security or wearing clear backpacks, or all this other shit is really not going to solve. This is like treating the symptoms and not the root cause. And I like to find the root cause and eliminate it. So the root causes are, our societal expectations nowadays. We're entitled to everything. We get outraged by being offended. If somebody says or has an opinion you don't like, we are offended by it, and we have to go and destroy that person and shut them down and get their careers ended and, hashtag them the fuck out of existence. And, there's all of this, Twitter war power, and this is destroying our society, and we'll only see more of this behavior going forward if we don't kind of check ourselves. We need to take personal responsibility for our lives. Everything in your life is not someone else's problem. My life, the fucked upness and every decision I've made, I am aware that those are decisions I made. I do not blame anybody for any negative thing in my life but myself. When something bad happens in my life, i.e. a breakup or something like that, I'm not looking to blame that person or it's them fault. Sometimes I'm pissed at those people, but ultimately I turn that scrutiny inward and try and figure out what maybe I should have done differently that would have altered this outcome. And I don't feel enough people do that. And I think a lot of us also are in this outrage culture, let the media control our opinion and our thoughts, so to speak, with the constant bombardment on the same topics over and over again, telling us how to think. And I've kind of stepped back from mainstream media a lot because it's so when you step out, things stick out more, because then when you jump back in, you're like, oh, they're still talking about that. I mean, I haven't fucking watched the news in 2 weeks, and it's the same news story that was on the last time I fucking turned it on. You mean I didn't miss a beat by not watching for 2 weeks? Imagine that. The really important events find their way into my life socially, through either social media or here on YouTube, or, I do have a guy I watch on YouTube that regurgitates current events. That's Philip DeFranco. And I kind of like his style of reporting and his mixture of opinions separated from the facts, and also asking our opinion in the process. There's a whole lot to be said, about our expectations. And, when, I say a lot of things railing against corporations, railing against, government agencies in charge of our health and nutrition. And I believe that helping win people over, to win hearts and minds, ultimately is the key to success. And my success isn't a financial success. I'm a minimalist. I'm looking at earning $15,000 a year. Whether I do that here on YouTube or I do that through other means, I've structured my life to live on $15,000 a year, and have a good, fulfilling life on $15,000 a year, which means learning some new ways of living, and some new ways of doing things. Ironically, not a lot has changed in terms of my capabilities, but my time has shifted, and my availability and freedom has shifted. So those are my goals. And the fact that people expect all of this, they expect it, handed to them. I'm going to put a video up and then YouTube's going to fucking pay me. That is not YouTube's job. YouTube is a business. They provide a service, several services to us creators. They also provide a service to advertisers. Their job is to make money. That's what a business is. They're not there to foster a freedom of speech community, to stroke our little egos and say, oh, yes, they're not. And they could even be biased and have an agenda and suppress videos. That's, the direction that things are heading. I'll be sad when that happens, when, even though monetization alone isn't the only way, they will suppress your search engine results, your views. They have that power. The service that at that point, that's why I will consider their service irrelevant at that point. They provide a valuable service. They get my videos in front of people's eyes. That's all I'm expecting from YouTube. If they don't meet that demand, I will look elsewhere to get my videos in front of people's eyes. But right now, YouTube's doing the job for me. If I get to a point where my views aren't fucking where they should be for the amount of work I'm doing, or they've declined significantly, I'll do two things. I'll evaluate myself, firstly. Is there a legit reason that I suck? Is that a question that this shooter even asked herself? Do I suck? Could this be my fault? And watching some of the videos of hers, I tend to lean toward even the vegans might not be watching her. It's one of them, her videos were kind of like a train wreck type situation where you kind of watch for that reason, but not really to be informed or to be enlightened or even entertained, other than the kind of like a parody of what's going on in the video. And, it's fucking ridiculous that the first thing she thought it was all YouTube's fault, and that's the algorithm. Yes, the algorithm does present issues. It does present obstacles, especially if you're controversial. But if you build your business model properly, there's successful YouTubers who don't get a dime directly from YouTube ads. None. They sell shit. They make brand deals with brands right directly, kind of cutting out the middleman. They, social media market. They're on multiple platforms. They get direct contributions from their viewers. They sell videos. They sell content. There's various ways to monetize that has nothing to do with ad revenue. And this misguided individual was so distraught about the drop in ad revenue and being censored on top of that, lowering the view count. In the meantime, not examining the reason for the view count might have had absolutely nothing to do with her rocking the boat and calling YouTube and bitching and putting all this shit on her site about how YouTube sucks. She should have recognized the flaws in herself before that, and maybe that would have prevented this tragedy from unfolding. And, we got to just examine ourselves when something's not going right. We got to take our personal responsibility. What the fuck are we doing wrong? That's what it boils down to. You got to figure out, what the hell did you do to cause that first? And if there is nothing, if YouTube is suppressing your channel, if they are, demonetizing you, then it's time to figure out how to solve that problem. Because you can't go to YouTube. You can't go and say, hey, why are you doing this to me? Sometimes you can if you got enough viewers. But us little people, we can't do that. YouTube doesn't give that much of a fuck about my 7,000 subscribers. And I'm kind of glad that I'm in that realm, because I do believe that the more they care about you, the more pull they're going to want in your content, and the more scrutinized you will be in regards to whether or not your shit is advertiser friendly. If and when, I shouldn't even say if, there's going to be a point, because I do say a lot of things against the corporate interests versus our health, and that isn't advertiser friendly for some advertisers. Other advertisers it really doesn't affect. But, the minimalist thing aside, for the most part, I've come to the realization that I did not want to tailor myself, by not saying fuck as much and trying to filter myself and all of that. I don't want advertisers to ever think that they can control what I say and how I produce my videos and the time frames or anything like that. I do not want a boss. I'm my own boss. I like being my own fucking boss. YouTube provides me a service right now. They get my video in front of new viewers. There's a steady, slow trickle, but a steady stream of subscribers coming in. So much so that I can project when I'm going to hit a certain number. It's slow, sometimes agonizingly slow. It's like a watch pot never boils type thing. They're doing that for me. But I know that could go the other way, that I could lose relevance, that the algorithm favors some things over other things. I have an idea of the things I need to do to kind of make that not as much of an issue. I know that engagement's important. I know that, talking to your community and connecting with them is important. Putting a video out and never connecting with your audience is not kind of not what YouTube is for. It's a social media platform. It's not just a media platform. And there should be interactions amongst YouTubers, amongst viewers and YouTubers, and it's a community, and we really need to understand that. But at the same time, this community is built on the foundation of a very real business, and most corporate businesses have only one thing on their agenda, and that is to make money. They try anything in their power to improve their ability to make money. Some of the biggest negative changes that have come to YouTube over the years were in result to losing money. And that's why I worry about this incident the most is, aside from the fucked upness of it, it's going to have a greater impact, I believe, on us as YouTubers going forward. Not just from a financial perspective, if they demonetize all day, but from a suppression, that'll be the point where I give up YouTube and try and pursue another platform. When I feel that they are no longer providing the service. For example, Facebook, I believe, is already to that point, which is why I just, fire and forget mostly on Facebook nowadays. Every once in a while, I'll post something or I'll share something on there. And I try and send you guys there to take a look, because they're not going to put it in your newsfeed. It's not going to pop up in your newsfeed. If you follow me on Facebook, you have to actively go and check the page to see my posts. And it's like that with any post that you want to follow. Any person that you follow on Facebook, they're not going to put it right in your newsfeed. Just like on YouTube, just because you clicked subscribe and like doesn't mean it's going to show up on the recommendation page. Doesn't mean you're going to get a notification. They throttle. And the reason Facebook does it is to motivate us to pay. Every time I put a post up, within 2 to 3 hours, I get you have a high-performing post, asshole. Would you like to pay $7 and reach an additional 2,000 people? And then, as I know somebody that does this, they pay that, and those additional 2,000 people are people that are already liked or or a friend on the friends list of their personal account, or they, liked the thing, and even if you share it to your personal account, there's something blocking that as well from people getting a response, because there's times I know people read my shit on Facebook. When I put a normal post on, I get a reaction, but when I share out a post of my website blog onto my page, and then I share that to my personal page, the views don't climb up on that post, which means it's not in people's news feeds. That is suppression. And YouTube could end up doing that ultimately to save face with advertisers who pay the bills. YouTube makes money three ways, actually. Advertisers, YouTube Red, which hasn't been successful yet, in my opinion. I do get a decent amount of red income, but it's very minimal compared to the advertiser income. And of course, us doing live streams, they take a cut of that. So these are all ways, and of course they probably direct sale videos, or they make network deals, and there's all kinds of ways that they're making money off of us, the creators. And it's their right to. They provide something, and we don't have to use it. We don't. Like, we're able to control these corporate interests just by our habits. And I think we need to restructure our habits in life to really, we need to do societal change. A lot of people are like, well, let's ban guns, or let's ban this, or let's, button this up, let's turn this into a bunker, let's, there's all kinds of symptom treatments going into these modern day tragedies and issues that could be preventable, in my opinion, if we just address the underlying problems in our society. And there are underlying problems in our society. We've become more disconnected than ever, despite having a real-time connection to everybody you know. And we fight and get triggered and are constantly, if someone's opinion doesn't align with our own, we attack them and shut them down, or unfriend them, or destroy them, or try and end their career, or repost it on Twitter with various hashtags saying, look, this motherfucker's a piece of shit. You should get rid of this piece of shit. And that just creates more negativity, more unrest, and allow people that are assholes to have their asshole opinions. And I think if you let that happen, and you don't try and destroy people and ostracize them and ridicule them because their opinions aren't the same as yours, no matter how far out of whack their opinion is from yours, they're still fucking human beings entitled to that opinion, and that's my opinion. And I think if we continue this pattern of suppression and, destruction of free speech and, this triggered culture of outrage, that it's just going to get worse. We're going to produce more of these people that are already probably psychologically unbalanced, and then we're going to give them the fuel for the fire or the explosion that eventually happens with these people. And I'm not saying that it's, I'm not taking any of the blame off of them. Them people are fucked up. They are bad people. We just need to figure out what's making these people bad people. What's producing these killers? These unhinged, I don't like this, so I'm going to go kill some people, assholes that are in the fucking world. How are we making them? How are we producing that human being? What are the things that we're doing wrong? That's how we solve the problem. Doesn't matter how many rules, laws, or whatever you pass, that person will still find a way around it. And it happens all over the world. There's places where guns are banned, where people will go and knife 10 people in one fucking night. We need to look at the root cause of this issue. That's my opinion. What's causing these shooters? What's causing these people to become so unhinged that they do something like this? That's my belief on this, my opinion on this story, And tell me what you think in the comments. I was rambling. This is an uncut video, so I don't know how well this is going to come out. But let me know what you think in the comments. As far as the channel, I hate that shit like this happens and takes what should be an uncomplicated system, such as creating videos and sharing them with the world, and makes it a big fucking headache. And YouTube has become a headache lately, as far as the politics behind it, and the sharing, and the activism, and it's I miss the old days of YouTube where you didn't get monetized automatically. I think the quality of content was better in those days, to be honest with you, when people weren't financially driven to put out videos. when it was a legit creative thing that people wanted to do, you could still make money without the ad revenue back then, and they did back then, sell shit, promote shit. That's part of the deal. I don't sell a lot of shit because I'm here not for that purpose. I'm here to spread a message about something I'm successful of. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't believe if you come to YouTube and you start to become a YouTuber expecting YouTube to pay your bills for the hard work, and it is hard work to produce videos. By hard work, I mean you put effort into it. There's some people that don't, and their channels perform accordingly. And if your performance dips, don't just automatically blame YouTube. Evaluate yourself first, because there are videos I have that I put a lot of work into that didn't get much play. And part of it was the subject matter. It wasn't something people were interested in. And I could contrast that because the video after it performed well and the video before it performed well. Look at yourself first. Look at the things you're making. And this can go in any life that you're choosing to live when you're so angry with a group of people, and I am angry with a lot of our food, pharmaceutical industries and government, but I've approached it from what can I do from my lifestyle perspective that will help start to change that, and at the very least change it for myself, if not for those around me. That's how I look at a problem. I don't look at, I don't like them motherfuckers, let's go hurt them. No, that's not how the world works. That's not how you evolve. That's not how you learn. Trial and error is how we learn. And we've tried certain things and we need to change. But the change starts with you. Each one of you motherfuckers watching this video can do things in your life to make the world a better place. I've done it. I continue to do it. I'm not perfect. There's things I need to work on, and I'm aware of that. And what I would like you to leave this video to do is evaluate what can you do in your life for the people that you're pissed off at. The people you want to change, the people who you don't agree with. How can you improve your relationship with those people? How can you, something you're doing influence them in a positive way instead of just saying, you suck, I don't want nothing to do with you, you're a piece of shit, fuck you, even if they're really toxic people, and there are some really toxic people, how can you make them a little less toxic? How can you disarm them from their assholery? That's what we need to do, I think. I could be completely fucking wrong. I'm not an expert. This is why I don't talk about current events this much, but and I could have gone the low road like I did at the intro. I took a little jab at the vegans, but it's a serious matter that honestly has little to do with the veganism and more to do with our societal choices and our expectations and other things. So that's all I wanted to do on this uncut video. It still turned out to be a pretty fucking long video. And I'm not a fucking expert. This was all opinion. I don't even know if this video is worth the shit. But enjoy. Try and have a nice motherfucking day, and think about it. Think about the people around you who you disagree with. Are they bad people? Are there ways that you can find common ground? My best friend and I were politically opposed for many years, and we found common ground, and we are best friends because of it. At least from my perspective. That is a level of maturity that is lacking in today's society. So if there's somebody in your life that you disagree with, that you are miserable with, or if there's even a cause that you disagree with, or a political thing you disagree with, or this or that, I would say take the time to really evaluate how you can improve your relationship with that person despite your disagreements, because turns out we're all fucking human beings. We all have common ground to stand on if we look. A lot of us don't even want to look. You know, there's people with completely different views than me, completely different diets, you know. There's vegetarians and vegans that I completely disagree with in my personal life that I consider friends and acquaintances because I stand on this common ground. I don't try and stand on my fucking pedestal, and hopefully they don't try to stand on theirs, but I'm pretty forgiving when they do, you know, and I try not to get sucked into debates, but occasionally that happens, you know, but at the end of the day, if I have a debate with somebody, even if it gets heated, I'm able to take a step back and say, okay, well, that was fun, and not try and destroy their life or censor them or shut them up or block them or whatever the fuck, you know. The only time I don't, you know, I unfollow somebody on Facebook is if I'm just kind of sick of hearing what they had to say. You know, I'm sick of the same negativity all the time in some people I've unfollowed. But for the most part, I just leave it alone, you know, and I try and interact in a positive way with people whom I'm not necessarily a fan of. And I think some of my better friendships have come out of that, you know, to where I stand on the common ground. And I've been friends with people from a lot of different walks of life, a lot of different political views, simply because I am able to separate, you know, our differences from our common ground. You know, if there's no common ground, there's no common ground. But I'm finding that, you know, we need to be more tolerant, and our tolerance is very low nowadays. And the lower our tolerance gets, the more assholes like this motherfucker that went into YouTube and shot up the place, the more of that kind of shit we're going to see. Let's address the root cause. Our behavior, our interactions, our disconnection, our isolationism of ourselves, our unopenness to other things. The fuck? Anyways, that's all I got for today. Have a nice motherfucking day. Try to. And shit. Bye.